3, 2.
And welcome everyone to the Real Leaders Podcast with keys from keynote speakers at the Agents of Change Summit. I'm your host, Kevin Edwards. Joining us today is Nicole Levitz, the Director of Digital Products at Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Nicole, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So what brings you to the Agents of Change Summit?
So I just came off a panel that was about digital interventions and using that to make behavior change around health.
So maybe explain to our audience an example of how this is being done.
Sure. So I talked about chat text and our Chatbot Roo, which are integrated, and talked about that integration and how an intervention with real life people via text and instant message can be connected and scaled with a connection to a chatbot using natural language processing.
So is this, for instance, like if I have a rare disease or a rare problem with me, I can find people in this community? Let me explain what Roo does.
Sure. So Roo provides basic information, and it's designed for 13 to 17-year-olds. And most of the time, it's just about confirming that they're normal. So often in the sexual reproductive health space, among these young folks that, with their public health hats on, thinking about as pre-sexual initiation, the guts of the question is, am I normal?
Right.
I don't have my period yet. Is that okay?
Right.
I masturbate a million times a day. Is that okay? And yes, that is the answer to all of those questions. And a bot does a really good job of explaining that.
So are you finding that 13 to 17-year-olds are coming onto this app to ask questions like this?
Yes. And everything is web-based that we do, and we do that really consciously. Unless you have a reason for someone to check into an app every day, you should probably be using a technology that's a little more accessible, because most young people in particular are on mobile, and we want to make sure it's as readily available as possible.
Fascinating. And I didn't know that. And I don't think a lot of other people know that as well. What are some misconceptions people have about Planned Parenthood?
There are many
I'm
thoughts
sure.
and feelings about the organization. I think one thing that's really important to lift up is that we are a trusted provider.
Absolutely.
And folks sometimes forget about that and sort of get lost in the politics of the issue. But 1 in 5 people who identify as women come to Planned Parenthood in their lifetime. And that's a very consistent statistic for us, and it's a very proud one. And very important to us that we're serving people all across the United States.
It is important. And so you're doing such incredible things right now, especially with this Roo. I had no idea. What's the vision going forward now for Planned Parenthood?
Our mission hasn't changed. We continue to try and create greater access for sexual and reproductive health across the country. And that means a wide range of things. That's our health centers, that's sex education in schools and communities and otherwise. That's also advocacy, making sure that we're continuing to have the political support and legal support to provide a full spectrum of sexual and reproductive health care. And that, at least for the foreseeable future, will remain our business, but that could operationalize as more AI-based tools, that could operationalize as more telehealth-based tools.
Interesting.
But the guts of the mission will remain the same.
Oh, interesting. Nicole, you said we've stuck true to our mission. Holding true to your values is a great trait of leadership. To you, Nicole, what is your definition of a real leader?
So I actually just came off a management training this week, and we talked about leaders versus authorities. And to me, an authority is not necessarily a leader. A leader is someone who can bring folks into the fold and support them so that they feel trusted and emboldened to do what they want to and choose to do to make the world a little bit better.
Well said, Nicole. Just want to thank you for coming on the Real Leaders Podcast today. For Nicole Levitz, I'm Kevin Edwards, asking you to go out there and always, folks, keep it real. Thanks, Nicole.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, folks, and thanks for watching this episode of the Real Leaders Podcast. If you want to learn more for leaders like this interview and you just can't get enough, go online to real-leaders.com/subscribe and get your first magazine for free using coupon code podcast25. That's podcast25, getting your first magazine for free on a 1-year subscription. See you there.